Devim Saraswatam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Neshtike Om Agyana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalankaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Caitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru and Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I'm going to continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 3. Yesterday we finished the chapter 21. Today we are starting with chapter 22, the marriage of Kardama Muni and Devahuti. Maitreya Vacha Evam Avish Krita Shesha Guna Karmo Dayo Munim Savrida Eva Tam Samrat Uparatam Uvachaha. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Shilpa Prabhupada. Shri Maitreya said, after describing the greatness of the emperor's manifold qualities and activities, the sage became silent, and the emperor, feeling modesty, addressed him as follows. Manuruvacha Brahma Srijat Swamukhato Yusman Atma Paripsaya Chando Mayastapo Vidya Yoga Yuktan Alam Patan. Manu replied, to expand himself in Vedic knowledge, Lord Brahma, the personified Veda, from his face, created you, the Brahmanas, who are full of austerity, knowledge, and mystic power, and are averse to sense gratification. The purpose of the Vedas is to propagate the transcendental knowledge of the absolute truth. So this is the reason the Vedas are there. Krishna gave us the Vedas so that we can understand the transcendental knowledge. Transcendental knowledge of what? Of the absolute truth. What we are seeing around us is all relative knowledge, relative truth. So we can get the transcendental knowledge from the Vedic literature. The Brahmanas were created from the mouth of the Supreme Person, and therefore they are meant to spread the knowledge of the Vedas in order to spread the glories of the Lord. So the mouth of the Supreme Lord, like we say, the mouth is the Brahmanas, the hands, the arms are the Kshatriyas to protect everyone, the Vaishyas are the waist, and then the Shudras are the thighs of the Lord, the legs of the Lord. So the Brahmanas, what is their duty? To speak about the glories of the Lord. In Bhagavad Gita also Lord Krishna says that all the Vedas are meant for understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In 15th chapter, Krishna says, Vedescha sarver aham eva vedya. Vedanta krit vedavid. Yeah, he says that in the 15th chapter. Why is all the Vedas there? For us to understand the absolute truth. And who's the absolute truth? That's Krishna. Krishna is the absolute truth. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is especially mentioned here, Yoga Yuktan Alampatan, that Brahmanas are full of mystic power and are completely averse to sense gratification. Actually, there are two kinds of occupations. One occupation in the material world is sense gratification, and the other occupation is spiritual activity, to satisfy the Lord by his glorification. Those who engage in sense gratification are called demons, and those who spread the glorification of the Lord or satisfy the transcendental senses of the Lord are called demigods. It is specifically mentioned here that the Brahmanas are created from the face of the cosmic personality of Virat Purush. Similarly, the Kshatriyas are said to be created from his arms, the Vaishyas are created from his waist, and the Shudras are created from his legs. Brahmanas are especially meant for austerity, learning, and knowledge, and are averse to all kinds of sense gratification. So we were hearing yesterday in Kunti Maharani's prayers that Lord Krishna, he is Rishikesh. He is the owner of all the senses. We are mistakenly thinking that these senses belong to me. We are thinking this eyes, hands, legs all belong to me. But Prabhupada gives a very nice example that if I get paralyzed, then I can't move my arm, even though if I want to. Then how come I can be called the controller of the arm? That means I'm not the controller. Who's the controller? It's Rishikesh. It's Lord Krishna. He's the controller. And since he is the controller of all our senses, then the senses should be engaged to satisfy him in his service. And that is bhakti. Bhakti means to use the senses in the service of the Lord. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. That service to the Lord begins by engaging the senses in his service. And so service begins, we can do by hearing and chanting, and at least engage our ears and our tongue in the service of the Lord by hearing and chanting. So text 3, Tat Trana Yasrajak Chasman Doha Sahasrat Sahasrapat Hridayam Tasya Hi Brahma Shatram Angam Prachaksate. For the protection of the Brahmanas, the 1,000-legged Supreme Being created us, the Kshatriyas, from his 1,000 arms. Hence, the Brahmanas are said to be his heart and the Kshatriyas his arms. Kshatriyas are specifically meant to maintain the Brahmanas, because if the Brahmanas are protected, then the head of civilization is protected. Brahmanas are supposed to be the head of the social body. If the head is clear and has not gone mad, then everything is in proper position. So the Brahmanas are the head because they are the intelligent class of people. We were speaking yesterday that the Kshatriyas, they are meant to protect, they are meant to manage, administer, and on the advice of the Brahmanas. They are supposed to do all this by consulting with the Brahmanas. So the Lord is described thus, Namo Brahmaya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha. The purport of this prayer is that the Lord specifically protects the Brahmanas and the cows, and then he protects all other members of society. Jagaditaya. It is his will that universal welfare work depends on the protection of cows and Brahmanas. Thus, Brahmanical culture and cow protection are the basic principles for human civilization. So human civilization stands on these two pillars, cow protection and Brahmanical culture. Brahmanical culture, when we adopt Brahmanical culture, we will realize that we are cultivating all the divine qualities. Kshatriyas are especially meant to protect the Brahmanas, as is the will of the Lord. Go Brahmana hitaya cha. As the heart is a very important part within the body, so the Brahmanas are also the important element in society. The Kshatriyas are more like the whole body, even though the whole body is bigger than the heart. The heart is more important. So the Kshatriyas before, they were also Raj Rishis. They were also Rishis, but they were Kshatriyas, because we hear that Krishna says, Evam parampara praptam, Imam Rajarishyo Vidu, that this knowledge was given, the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita was given by Krishna to Vivaswan. Vivaswan gave it to his son, Vivasta Manu, Manu gave it to Ikshvaku. So the kings were also saintly kings, and they would take consultation from the saintly Brahmanas. So text for, I would just like to say something about the senses, as we were saying. So then whatever we see, we think it's for my enjoyment. Everything is for my enjoyment. The thing we have to change our consciousness is try to say that whatever I'm seeing is made by Krishna. It belongs to Krishna. How beautiful is Krishna's creation. How intelligent is Krishna. Somehow or the other relate everything we are seeing, because the eyes is also a sense, and we are seeing every time everything. So, you know, we could try to relate whatever we are seeing to Krishna, try to connect whatever we are seeing to Krishna. So yeah, just wanted to say that. Anyone else wanted to say anything or comment anything on that? No?
There's just one more important thing I heard in the Ravi Lochan Prabhu's lecture, that the senses, if sometimes we see that our senses want something, so we should try to not provide them what they want. If we provide them what they want and we think that it will finish and it will go away, but it is not like that. If we provide them with the more entertainment, then they will become more greedy, and then we'll deviate very easily from the path. So if we should have some control, we should try to control, like as you rightly said, that we should give them the better entertainment rather than the wrong entertainment, the high quality. So sometimes we think कि अगर मैं एक बार ऐसा कर लूंगा फिर ठीक हो जाएगा, फिर next time इच्छा नहीं होगी, एक बार कर लो, खत्म करो. But it is not like that. The ones that we do, it will keep us indulged lifelong, because that thing will keep on coming back again and again. Impression will be there on our mind and the clicks would be there. So it is better to control the one desire that we have to fulfill for our senses. So we should try to control that.
Thank you. Thank you. So reading up text 4, Atohi anyonyam atmanam brahma shatram cha rakshataha rakshati samavyayo devaha saya sad asad atmakaha. That is why the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas protect each other as well as themselves, and the Lord himself, who is both the cause and effect and is yet immutable, protects them through each other. The entire social structure of Varna and Ashram is a cooperative system meant to uplift all to the highest platform of spiritual realization. The Brahmanas are intended to be protected by the Kshatriyas, and the Kshatriyas are also intended to be enlightened by the Brahmanas. When the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas cooperate nicely, the other subordinate divisions, the Vaishyas or mercantile people, and the Shudras or laborer class, automatically flourish. The entire elaborate system of Vedic society was therefore based on the importance of the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas. The Lord is the real protector, but he is unattached to the affairs of protection. He creates Brahmanas for the protection of the Kshatriyas and Kshatriyas for the protection of the Brahmanas. He remains aloof from all activities. Therefore, he is called Nirvikar, without activity. He has nothing to do. He is so great that he does not perform action personally, but his energies act. The Brahmanas and Kshatriyas and anything that we see are different energies acting upon one another. So Krishna created this whole Varna Sharma system so that there is cooperation between everyone. And then in that way, the entire society can be peaceful and at the same time progress in spiritual realization. And then it said that Krishna himself, Krishna personally does not need to do anything. He just uses us as instruments. He uses us as instruments. Someone has a Brahmanical nature. He says, okay, you do the duty of a Brahmana. Someone has a Kshatriya nature. You do the duty of a Kshatriya, and like that you cooperate between each other. And the Kshatriya, Brahmana, Vaishya, Shudra, everyone, we are all living entities. We are all parts and parcels of Krishna. We are all Krishna's marginal energy. Marginal energy. That's why I'm saying his energies act. So we are just instruments in the hands of Krishna. Whenever we are interacting with each other, that's what's happening. Whether we understand it or not, that is what is happening. When we want to forget Krishna, we become instruments in the hands of Maya Devi. And when we want to revive our Krishna consciousness, when we have revived our Krishna consciousness, then we become instruments in the hands of Krishna. So all the individuals.
Sorry. So the duty of the Vaishyas are to provide, right? Their income, like partly for taking care.
Yes.
Of the Kshatriya also, like to, because they need to fight and look after, right?
Yes. 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 So that's why the Vaishyas, they are the one who's making the income. So they pay
income. Yeah. So they pay
taxes. Yeah. So that's why the king, before the taxes would be paid to the king. Now we pay taxes to the government. But what's the duty of the king then? Whatever he collects as the taxes, he uses that for the maintenance of the people.
For the welfare. Yeah.
Welfare of the people. Yeah. To protect everyone. So there was perfect cooperation amongst everyone. There's mutual respect, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. Each is playing an important part in important role in society. Yeah. So although individual souls are all different, the super self or super soul is the supreme personality of Godhead. Individually, oneself may differ from others in certain qualities and may engage in different activities, such as those of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, or Vaishya. But when there is complete cooperation among different individual souls, the supreme personality of Godhead as super soul, Paramatma, being one in every individual soul, is pleased and gives them all protection. So the Paramatma, the super soul, the supreme personality of Godhead, he is one. He is situated in each and every one heart. He's there in all our hearts. So, but it's not that there are so, like, for example, we say there are billions and billions of living entities on this planet itself. It doesn't mean there are billions and billions of Paramatmas. No, Paramatma is one. But we, the individual souls, are, yes, billions and billions. We are individual. So when we cooperate with each other, what happens? Krishna is pleased because that's how he wants. He wants peace. Her father wants children to cooperate, have loving relationship with each other, care for each other, love each other, help each other. That's what a parent wants. Parent does not want two children should fight. No, parent wants peace. Let them, and so that they can learn to develop the higher qualities of cooperation, of love, of tolerance. So then the parent is pleased, right? And of course, the parent is maintaining all the children. Similarly, Krishna, he's maintaining all of us. He's the one. Nityo nityanam chetanas chetananam eko bahunam yo vidadati kaman. Among all the eternals, there is one eternal who's maintaining all other eternals. is said in the Katha Upanishad. So whether we are here in the material world or we get liberated, we are sitting in the Brahma Jyoti, or we are sitting in any of the Vaikuntha planets, doesn't matter, irrespective where we are always being maintained by the Supreme Lord. So as stated before, the Brahmanas are produced from the mouth of the Lord, and the Kshatriyas are produced from the chest or arms of the Lord. If the different castes or social sections, although apparently differently occupied in different activities, nevertheless act in full cooperation, then the Lord is pleased. This is the idea of the institution of 4 varnas and 4 ashrams. If the members of different ashrams and varnas cooperate fully in Krishna consciousness, then society is well protected by the Lord, without doubt. So when Krishna sees everyone is cooperating nicely, he is protecting everyone. In Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that the Lord is the proprietor of all different bodies. The individual soul is the proprietor of his individual body, but the Lord clearly states, my dear Bharat, you must know that I am also Kshetragya. This is the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna is giving knowledge to Arjuna. He's saying that it's not only you who is there, I'm there also, and I'm the proprietor of everyone. You are the proprietor of your body, but I'm the proprietor of everyone's body. I'm the knower. Kshetragya means the knower or proprietor of the body. The individual soul is the proprietor of the individual body, but the super soul, the personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the proprietor of all bodies everywhere. He is the proprietor not only of human bodies, but of birds, beasts, and all other entities, not only on this planet, but on other planets also. He is the supreme proprietor. Therefore, he does not become divided by protecting the different individual souls. He remains one and the same. So we are inside this body. I am inside my own body. I am not inside your body. So I can control. I will lift my hand whenever I want, or blink my eyes, or walk whenever I want. But I cannot induce you to do that. I can't control you. That depends on your desire if you want to listen to me or no. Isn't it? So I am inside my body, you are inside your body, but Krishna is inside everyone's body as the Paramatma. So there are two souls inside the body. One is the individual soul. I am inside my body, and next to me is the Paramatma, Krishna. And not only inside my body, he is inside the body of all living entities. All living entities, they can have, their body may appear any shape or form or species, but they are living entities. Krishna is there with them as Paramatma. That also not only in this planet, all the planets of the universe, not only of this universe, all the planets of all the universes. So he remains one and the same. That the sun appears on top of everyone's head when at the meridian does not imply that the sun becomes divided. One man thinks that the sun is on his head only, whereas 5,000 miles away, another man is thinking that the sun is on his head. So here we might say, oh, sun is only for me. No, but the sun is there in another country too. He's there everywhere. It doesn't mean there's an Indian sun or American sun or Taiwanese sun. No, sun is the sun. All right. So that's the position of the Paramatma, the Supreme Lord. Similarly, the super soul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is one, but he appears to individually oversee each individual soul. This does not mean that the individual soul and the super soul are one. They are one in quality as spirit soul, but the individual soul and super soul are different. So the individual soul and super soul are same in quality, but very different in quantity. How same in quality? Because the super soul, Paramatma, is Satchid Ananda. We are also Satchid Ananda. But our size is totally different. Krishna is unlimited. We are tiny individual souls. So our capability, our capacity is different. I can't be in your heart at the same time. I can't be in the heart of every living entities at the same time. I am not there. That's why I don't know what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and neither can you. I am only inside my heart right now. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes. Did anyone want to add anything to it or comment?
No.
Okay. So okay. Go to the next one. Tava sandarshana deva chinname sarva samshaya yat swayam bhagwan pritya dharmam aha rirakshi shoho. Now I have resolved all my doubts simply by meeting you. For your lordship has very kindly and clearly explained the duty of a king who desires to protect his subjects. Manu described herewith the result of seeing a great saintly person. Lord Caitanya says that one should always try to associate with saintly persons. Why? Because if one establishes a proper association with a saintly person, even for a moment, what happens? One attains all perfection. So if we are looking for perfection, we should associate with a saintly person. Proper association. Somehow or the other, if one meets a saintly person and achieves his favor, then the entire mission of one's human life is fulfilled. In our personal experience, we have actual proof of this statement of Manu. Once we had the opportunity to meet Vishnupad Sri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj. And on first sight, he requested this humble self to preach his message in the Western countries. So Srila Prabhupada is saying, yes, what Manu is saying, that even for a moment, one achieves all perfection. Prabhupada is speaking of his own experience. That Lord Caitanya says, if you get even one moment association with a saintly person, you get perfection. So Prabhupada, when the first time when he met Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj requested Prabhupada to preach this message in the Western countries, in the English speaking language. There was no preparation for this, but somehow or the other, he desired it. And by his grace, we are now engaged in executing his order, which has given us a transcendental occupation and has saved and liberated us from the occupation of material activities. So Prabhupada is saying, because it was told to him by his spiritual master, that's the reason he's able to do it. That's why he went to the West and to give this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, this transcendental knowledge to everyone and all over the world. So it's Prabhupada's, we can see the humility of Srila Prabhupada, that he's saying, I'm just fulfilling the order of my Guru Maharaj. It's by his grace that I'm doing it. And he saved me. He has saved me. Otherwise, I would have been continuing to do my material activities. But he saved me and gave me this service, transcendental activity to do. Thus, it is actually a fact that if one meets a saintly person completely engaged in transcendental duties and achieves his favor, then one's life mission becomes complete. What is not possible to achieve in thousands of lives can be achieved in one moment if there is an opportunity to meet a saintly person. That's that Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha Sarva Siddhi Hai. That's the verse. Sadhu Sangha Sarva Shastra Kahe Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha Sarva Siddhi Hai. One moment of association can give us full perfection. And Srila Prabhupada is saying, yes, it's true. By his practical experience, he's saying this is true. It is therefore enjoined in Vedic literature that one should always try to associate with saintly persons and try to disassociate oneself from the common man, because by one word of a saintly person, one can be liberated from material entanglement. A saintly person has the power, because of his spiritual advancement, to give immediate liberation to the conditioned soul. Here, Manu admits that all his doubts are now over, because Kardama has very kindly described the different duties of individual souls. So Prabhupada is saying that the saintly person has the power to liberate us. He has. Why? Because he himself is liberated. So in one moment, a saintly person can do that. So because he's on that platform, we can give only what we have. So a pure devotee, he has that. So he can give us immediate liberation. So we should try to associate with the pure devotees of the Lord, hear from them. Association means to hear from them, inquire from them submissively. Association means Krishna Katha, hearing and chanting about Krishna. That's how we associate. And here, of course, Srila Prabhupada got a direct instruction from his Guru Maharaj at the very first meeting when he met him. His Guru Maharaj gave him a direct instruction, and Srila Prabhupada took it to heart, and he followed on that instruction. He fulfilled that instruction. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, like Haridas Thakur, how by his association, the one who came to distract her, the lady.
Yes.
Yeah, she changed.
Yes.
Her heart changed. So just like she used to come every day to deviate him. She thought that she was very, very beautiful and Haridas Thakur will get affected, but no. Rather, her heart got changed because Haridas Thakur was so pure.
Yes, true. The prostitute, and even Maya Devi herself came. Maya Devi, we are so attached to Maya Devi, right? We don't want to leave her. We are so attracted to her. She came to Haridas Thakur to attract him. And by hearing his chanting, she got attracted. She told him, please give me initiation. Yes, the pure devotee have that. Even Narad Muni, just by looking at Narad Muni, Mrigari the hunter had a change of heart and became a pure devotee. So, lava matra sadhu sangha sarva siddhi hai. Yeah. So we should try to find out the saintly persons and associate with them. Thank you so much for listening and joining in on all your participation.
I have one question.
Yes.
So for this one, like even if we hear the lecture, because for practically not possible. So even if we hear the lecture of the pure devotees, then that will impact our heart. That is considered association.
Of course, yes. Yes. Yes, because you're hearing.
Okay.
Yeah, it will have an effect on the heart. It will have effect on our consciousness. We are practically seeing that. We're practically seeing that. It helps.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Personal association, of course, is the best, but if we are not able to associate personally, we associate through Vani, Vapu and Vani. There's two kinds of association, physical and Vani, service with personal, and then Vani means to follow the instruction. So when we are hearing, then we can follow the instructions by hearing.
And we are reading the scripture.
Reading the scripture, yes. Reading and hearing is same, Prabhupada said. Yeah. Yes. So if we hear in a service mode, then this is my service to Srila Prabhupada, it's a great service. It changes our heart. changes our heart just by having that feeling, that mood. Because Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, serve the Bhagavatam and serve the person Bhagavat. Who's the person Bhagavat? Who's living his life according to the principles of Bhagavatam. And should be regularly done. Then what happens? That loving devotional service to Lord Krishna is established in the heart as an irrevocable fact. Irrevocable fact. It will happen. It will happen. So thank you so much. So we just continue hearing and chanting in the association of devotees. Thank you so much for today. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.